Good morning. We're at the sunrise this morning. Got up at about 4:30, did some work, reading, took a walk down to the beach. And of course, you can't go to a beach in the morning and watch a sunrise without getting philosophical. I don't get philosophical at sunsets, only at sunrises. Sun rising today at 7:13. Beautiful beach. Just 2 weeks ago, this beach was being battered by Hurricane Irma. This is where I'll be living in less than a year. But the beach got battered to the point where the beach park, where the pavilion is, was covered with sand. They took down the canvas awning. Everything that's around here right now, you can see everything kind of turned brown from the salt spray. Can you see that? Everything used to be green. And then what happened is, storm comes and leaves. It leaves its path of, in some cases, destruction, and many other cases, less than perfect circumstances. But the neat thing about storms is that they pass. They don't last forever. And I was here about 1 year ago doing a broadcast from this very same spot, if you remember. The very same, literally standing right here. Sun's coming up at 7:13. It should be popping up any moment now. That sky is just getting brighter and brighter and brighter. I don't know if you can see that. There we go. That might even be a better perspective for you to see. I did a sunset video last night, which was magnificent, on the river, on the bay, on the other side, the Indian River. Down in Melbourne Beach, Florida. This is my favorite beach because it's always desolate. And that's important. Okay? Your wealth can't go high unless your worth is, and your self-worth is already high as it is. You have to respect yourself. That's why I lost 60 pounds. That's why I'm doing things that are better for me in all areas of my life, and I've done that constantly. You know, in the corporate world, what do we call it? CQI, continuous quality improvement. In your personal life, it's just personal development and improvement. You get philosophical during sunrises. It's the beginning of the day. You're up before everybody else. Back to storms. The effect of storms on property, it decreases the value of property. This area here just got hammered. The steps from people's homes have been rebuilt. You can rebuild all that. But right after a storm, the value seems to be lower. People look at it and they go, wow, the place looks like a battle zone. But with people, storms in your life increase your value. They don't decrease your value, they increase your value. Do you hear me? Don't look at, and it's really a matter of perspective. There were times in my life when I went through some stuff, and I'm teaching now. This is not all, some people have accused me of just like venting on camera. That's not the case. There's a lot of retrospective stuff here. I experienced a lot of things, and I can unwaste the years and unwaste my time by extracting lessons from it that I can teach other people, including my own children, who I have 3 of them, who will watch the videos and discover parts of their dad that they never knew. I've been called everything from the father People have said you're the father that I never had. Some people have said you're the grandfather that I never had. And that's an honor. That's an honor. I would love to be the motivator that you never had as well. Remember that storms increase your value if you recover properly. There's people that, have you ever heard of like people who like lost everything and they just kind of went into a tailspin and never really recovered? They never recovered. Excuse me 1 second, let me get my coffee. They never really recovered from the storms, whether it be divorce or financial disasters. So the deal is this, is to view storms like you would a workout. Like it's interval training. Now, you can't have storms all the time. A lot of people invite their own storms. Think about that. A lot of people invite shit into their life and then blame life. And part of being successful in life is taking full responsibility for your life and what you allow in it, how you react to it. Stuff doesn't always happen to you. There's things that you invite into your life. And then there's getting broadsided as you're going through an intersection. That has nothing to do with you. A hurricane hitting you has nothing to do with you. However, when a hurricane is coming through and they say evacuate, your best bet is to evacuate. But if you end up living in ruins and getting damaged and hurt by a hurricane, there's that beautiful sunrise popping right now. If you stick around after the warnings, the warning signs, 100-mile-an-hour winds, rain. I remember a comedian saying, it's not the wind that kills you, it's the Volvo flying through the air at 70 miles an hour that's going to kill you. If you take the storms that hit you, the random stuff, Epictetus, and I taught this about a year ago. Some of you will remember this, some of you won't, some of you newer folks, and about 1/3 of you probably never heard this teaching before. Epictetus said, men are not disturbed by things, but by their opinions about things, about those things. For some people, a hurricane is the end of the world. Oh my God, what am I going to do? You prepare for it. So the idea is this, is that you live a prepared life so that when storms hit, not the kind that you invite into your life through bad relationships, alcohol, drugs, dumb decisions, not that kind of stuff. What I'm talking about is the stuff that's random. Men are not disturbed by the things, but by their opinions about those things. Storms will make you stronger. The things that you don't expect, what I want you to do is look at like the pain that you experienced. Someone just, a spouse or a partner said, I don't love you, I'm leaving you. We're not going to be together anymore. Wow, that T-boned you, that broadsided you, that knocked you off your game. If you didn't listen to the news or the radio, a hurricane can knock you off your game pretty easily too. Isn't this beautiful? This is just magnificent. I am crazy about this. And just a little bit crazy as well. And I like being the only guy on the beach. Now you know why I want to live here. How can you grow through storms? There's the sun. First of all, there's a recovery time. In the same way, like I learned that the salt spray from the hurricane, you can see all the stuff that's washed up, all the seaweed. This is normally a pristine beach. Now it just looks gnarly, but it's nature. That's nature. And that's the result of storms in our lives. Gnarliness is the product of storms, and your life might be gnarly. But you know what's going to happen to this right here? This is not going to stay like this. The tide will come in and take that right out, and this beach will be seaweed free. Stuff is washed up on this beach. It's amazing. As I was beach combing yesterday, the stuff that I found amongst the seaweed was just interesting to see what washes up, the ebb and flow of life. Life is the same way. You need a recovery time. You need a recovery time. And then guess what? Everything that turned brown from the sea spray in the hurricane, everything that turned brown is going to turn green again and look alive. Right now, everything looks dead, but it's going to come back. You gotta trust that. Nature does that. You're part of nature. Think about it. Except one thing, let me tell you how you're different than those sea grapes right there and the trees that were slammed during the hurricane, is that you have a will. They have to completely depend on nature, 100%, in order to be restored. You can make a decision to be restored after a hurricane, after a storm in your life, after a drug overdose, after an accident, after getting fired, after losing a partner. There's life after the damn storm. And there's someone out there right now watching this at whatever time of day, and you're either in a storm or you just went through one and you don't know what to do. Slow down, stop, and recover. And let nature take its course. Let the healing take place. You ever scrape your knee when you're a kid and your mama put a Band-Aid on it? And you keep checking under the Band-Aid? What would she say? Leave it alone. Let it heal. And you pick on the scab. You know, we do the same thing with ourselves emotionally. We look under the Band-Aid to see how it's healing. Leave the damn thing alone. Leave your heart alone. Let it heal. All right? You got screwed over somehow, a matter of the heart. Let it heal. It takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. Respond, and sometimes after a storm, whether it be mental or a matter of the heart, stop. You know, you hunker down, you stop, you assess the damage, and then you start to rebuild. Rebuilding doesn't happen all by itself. Now, with nature, everything that's brown and down is eventually going to be green and up again. And this will look like a beautiful postcard of a beach. But until then, it's going to look like this. The difference between you and this beach is that you can clean up the mess that happened in your life. This has to wait for nature to come in and clean it up. You can clean up that mess. Let me just see the different perspectives here. There we go. See, I'm getting brighter. See what that sunlight does? Sunlight illuminates. That is magnificent. Now, that little fiery ball on the horizon there. You know, horizons are good for you. Unfortunately, this camera really can't pick that up. I don't know if you can see that. There we go. Just stop and rebuild, man. Think about it. Look at the damage in your life. And what you need to do is seriously assess the damage, but don't just rebuild the house that got blown down by the storm. And I use that term house figuratively. Don't just rebuild the house, but rebuild it bigger. Let the storms rebuild you. Let them make you stronger. Rebuild after the storm. It was funny, I was talking to my brother Tony, and we were talking about how some people don't rebuild. Some people just let the damage stay there. They just let the bullshit just stay in their life, the rubble. Clean up the damn rubble, man, and move on, and don't let there be signs of a storm. That's important. Have a great day, wherever you are, whatever time you're listening. I appreciate it. And let me toast you with my coffee. And let's take a look at the sunrise one more time. There we go. Have a great day. Thanks.